Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. And Rachel Reeves is doing an absolutely terrible job. And how do we know this? Because a former Bank of England chief economist says so. Now, he's a real economist, not like the pretendy sort that Rachel Reeves lies about on her CV. But he's told how repeated mistakes by the government have been sucking all life from the economy ahead of the budget. Now, to make a mistake is fine. You make a mistake, you own up, you correct it, and you fix it. She's making the same mistake time and time again because she doesn't know any better, because she's an idiot. Now, he has said that she was being dealt a bad hand, but she's playing it badly. This is by Andy Haldane. He was speaking yesterday, as it happens, and said it's been a bad hand played, in truth, he says, pretty poorly. He said, so mistakes have been made and then been repeated, the same mistakes time and again. And the worst of that is because it's repeated mistakes, is that it shows that she's not learning. And of course, we've got the build-up. We're in the run-up now to the awful budget on November the 26th. This is Torsten Bell's budget that Rachel Reeves will have to deliver. And then she will take all the flack for. I think she may decide that it's not worth it anymore. But of course, it's crisis after crisis, mistake after mistake, bad news after bad news. It's unrelenting. And, this Haldane, he said that the black hole narrative that she said about a year ago, sucking all the life and energy out of the first budget, said was quite simply not true. There was no black hole. But there is this time. But unfortunately this time he says it's her making. Not enough is done, he said, to grow the economy, to give even growth a chance. Said that this relentless push for taxation is destroying it. He said it's only 16 months since Keir Starmer said he wants to tread more lightly on our lives. And yet all he's done is stomp in even heavier. He said it's singularly not happened. That speculation is proof positive of that, he says. Now, Haldane was the chief economist at the bank until 2021, and he warned that the build-up ahead of this budget has been an absolute circus. I would have said shit show, but he's being polite and said circus. And he's called for the process to be overhauled and to stop leaking. He says every leak must be investigated and punished. And if it's found that the leaks are coming from the Treasury, then the Chancellor herself must be blamed. But it shows that economic growth is slowing and slowing and slowing. Third quarter, it was only 0.1. And in the last month of the third quarter, it's actually gone backwards. But even at 0.1 growth, when you're looking at near 4% inflation, it's obviously it's a shrinking economy. We're literally in stagflation territory. We still have the inflation, but the economy's stagnant. She's blaming the weaker performance on Jaguar. Well, really. And the gross domestic product, GDP, shrinking by 0.1% during September after the fallout of the car. But that car people, they haven't made a car since July. So you can't blame it from that. But of course, all these rumours, all these leaks, they're having a definite bad influence because the markets are hearing them, and that's why the pound is shrinking and weakening. That's why the gilt rates are rising. Nobody wants to lend to Britain because they're seen as a risk now. And with an economy set to absolutely collapse and unemployment to soar, he says this is why leaks are dangerous. But there we go. He says there's too much speculation, not enough grounding, he says, and it seems that nobody at the Treasury has any clue what to do other than tax. He says no one's building for growth. Because of course not. They haven't got a clue what they're doing. There's not an economist amongst them. He says, but the worst of it, he says, is that the person in charge literally doesn't know what she's doing. And that's a man who knows. What do you think? Is Rachel Reeves truly out of her depth and doesn't have a clue? Stupid question. Thanks a lot. Bye.